All right.
All right. Okay, so my name's Cassie and your name is Terry, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to assume because you're in this class that you're a student. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay, awesome. So I'm going to talk today. My goal is to persuade you to agree with me that Texas Tech should support and advocate for the Affordable College Textbooks Act. So I'm going to talk about textbooks and why they're really expensive. And then I'm going to talk about some solutions that certain students try and have to solve this problem. And then I'm also going to talk about the best solution, which is the Affordable College Textbooks Act. So have you ever purchased a textbook?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes. Okay. And have you ever had a problem with the price being really high?
All the time when I bought them. Now I rent them.
Yes. And so have you ever decided or thought about not buying the book for the class because it was too expensive?
Not really.
Not really.
I need the book.
Yes.
Some people probably can wing it. I can't.
I feel the same way. And so do you agree with me that textbooks should be more affordable for college students?
Definitely. I do
Okay,
agree.
perfect. So did you know that um, according to the American Enterprise Institute, college textbook prices are 812% higher than what they were just 3 decades ago. So they've gone over in price over 812%. And the average budget for college textbooks for just one student for just 1 year is $1,200. And one in every 4 college students will decide not to buy their books at all just because they're too expensive. And so I believe that Texas Tech should start supporting free textbooks. And I'm going to tell you, first I'm going to talk about a little bit why textbooks are so expensive. So textbooks are really expensive because professors will assign specific editions of a textbook, but there are only 5 publishers that have a lock on the market. So there's only 5 publishers who publish textbooks, and so they're able to drive up the prices as high as they want, and they don't have a lot of competition. Have you ever had a professor assign a specific edition of a book?
I have.
You have. Mm-hmm.
And the only thing they do is put a little more or a couple of pictures more, a couple of sentences more, and they charge you more.
Exactly. It's really, really frustrating because, yeah, the content doesn't change very much and it's a whole lot more expensive. So it's super frustrating. And I'm also going to talk about, have you ever wondered like why you're paying so much and where that money is going? I don't know. I always kind of wonder.
Yes, I have.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to kind of break down every dollar that you spend on a textbook. So according to the National Association of College Stores, out of every dollar, 22 cents will go to the bookstore, 1 cent will go to shipping costs, and then 77 cents will go to the publisher. So the publisher is making a lot of money off of that. And out of that 77 cents, like 32% will go towards manufacturing costs of the book, and then 15 cents will go towards marketing, and only 12 cents goes to the author. So out of every dollar, only 12 cents is going to the author, and the publisher is making 18 cents in pure profit. Like aside from all of their costs, they're making 18 cents in profit. So to put that in perspective, the average book publishing company, so non-textbook, they'll make about 10% profit off of every book they sell. But a textbook publishing company, they make 22% profit. So they're making more than double profit of what a normal book publishing company would be making. So I don't know. I think that information for me made me think that I think textbook publishers are making a little bit too much profit. Do you agree with that?
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, great. So I know you said that you've started renting books, and that's kind of one of the solutions that people have for really expensive textbooks. So I'm going to talk about 2 of the primary solutions, and one is used textbooks, and the other one's electronic resources. So used textbooks make up about a third of the textbook market, and they're usually a lot cheaper in the second year of their edition. But even if they're a little bit cheaper, it's still a lot of money for a college student to be spending. And also, I don't know if you've ever had this problem, but sometimes buying textbooks that are used is a lot harder, and it takes a longer time to get them because it's through like a third party seller, and it can raise shipping costs and things like that. So used books isn't really the best option. I think it's one of the options, but I don't think it's the best one. And then electronic resources is another one. A lot of institutions are using online textbooks and things like that. But there was a study published by the Journal of Social Work Education on students who took an online course. And for the first 2 weeks of the course, they could only use the online textbook. And then after that, they could use paper resources if they wanted. And actually, the majority of the class went right back to the paper resources. And 70% of the population of the class had a negative view towards electronic resources because they said it was harder to pay attention and it was harder to retain the information that they were getting. And so I really don't think electronic resources are the best solution either. And they work sometimes, but I don't think that they're the best solution. And so do you kind of agree with that? Have you ever experienced kind of drawbacks with those two things?
Well, I like electronic books.
Okay.
I've rented some through Kindle, and they've been great.
Okay.
But I haven't done anything else.
Okay, so you mainly read for like pleasure online?
No, my textbooks.
Your textbooks are online as well? Okay, awesome. So I always kind of wondered, I'm not a huge online person, but I've always I know there are people who do like it, which is why I think the best solution to this problem of overpriced textbooks is called the Affordable College Textbook Act. So the act was originally introduced in 2015 in a session of Congress, and it was introduced by 2 senators and 2 congressmen. And the bill, it basically proposes that college textbooks should be published under an open license. And this means that they would be free online, they're free to download, and they're only about $20 for a hard copy. And the value of the book is not diminished in this either. So it wouldn't take any value away from the content that you're reading. And students could save thousands of dollars. And like you said, you actually do like online materials, you would have those. And so you'd have the ability to have that resource as well. And so it hasn't been passed. It was initially introduced in a session of Congress that ended in 2015, and it wasn't passed. So it was wiped out from the books. But we know that the concept works. So the University of Illinois, they were granted $150,000 for the university's open source textbook initiative. And so they kind of almost did like a test run of giving the students open publishing resources, and it worked really, really well. And then recently, the University of Maryland actually replaced all of their textbooks with open publishing resources. And they were the first institution in the US to be able to do that. So that was really, really big for them. And so it's been tested at various institutions, but the bill hasn't been passed. But the good news is it was reintroduced in this year's session of Congress. So it was reintroduced in September of 2017. So there's a possibility that it could be passed by next year, which would be awesome. So my question to you is, what do you think about the act? And do you agree with me when I think that Texas Tech should support this?
I definitely do. And I wish that bill would pass.
Absolutely.
Because I'm going to be probably 100 years old and I'm going to still be studying. So
I totally agree. And I think part of it is Texas Tech's responsibility to us as students is to provide us with affordable resources. And in 1965, Congress passed the Higher Education Act, which means that it basically stated that Americans should be able to achieve their educational goals. And so I think that Texas Tech kind of shares that responsibility and that they should get behind it and advocate for it. But yeah, so did I persuade you?
Yes, definitely. I agree 100%.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you.